It's time for us to take a look at what's happening on the covers of the dailies this morning. Mike Mesikeno is here with me. Let's find out what the covers look like. We have the Nation newspaper for Thursday, November 30th, 2023. Defense, education, health top Tinubu's 27.5 trillion naira budget. Human capital development, poverty reduction, infrastructure are priorities. Pension, proposed wage raise push-up, deficit to 9.1 trillion. Now, there is the sectoral allocation right there on the cover as well for defense, education, health, infrastructure, social development, poverty reduction, and so much more. A lot more information in the cover, or rather in the Nation newspaper. It also says just beneath the masthead there, JAMB releases timetable for 2024 UTME. 25 die in Kwara accident. Page 6 has more on that. Old, new Naira notes remain legal tender indefinitely. Page 5 has more on that. And 2022 floods caused $9.12 billion damage, says NBS report. I'll wrap it with this one. It says aviation units in blame game over flight diversion to Asaba. Mike.
Oh yeah, I heard about that, and people were trying to give different. Look, that is a serious issue, and in some parts of the world, some heads will rule.
Yeah,
heads will rule. It was not like we're going to, and there was an announcement of that. Okay, there's an issue with Abuja. We are going to divert to Asaba. No, they say we're going to Abuja. We are now in Abuja. They landed and boom, Asaba, Abuja and Asaba just switched.
Yeah, and the fact that the supervising flight attendant actually said that they were in Abuja.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a really
some heads should roll.
Some
there's some people that should be held accountable.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, okay, so what? Someone could just hijack. They could just. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
That plane was literally hijacked.
Well, you could call it that.
I mean, what if there was something waiting
for them there?
What if somebody something was? No, the excuse is that the pilot got a flight plan to Asaba instead of Abuja.
So whoever sent that flight plan.
You understand? Exactly. So I mean, what if something was waiting there for people to pick them up or something? It's a big issue.
Major issue.
Big issue.
I was even thinking about people that probably had connecting flights, connecting journeys, events they were going to.
In Nigeria now, if you're going to fly, you should be wise enough not to connect not to make them too close to each other.
It was actually quite upsetting. I know someone that was at the airport from 10 a.m.
and they left by evening.
The flight was delayed till 1 p.m. and at 1 p.m. they said it was delayed till 6.
Yeah,
the person got to Abuja from Lagos after midnight.
Think about it. So if you're going for a meeting and it was that same day, you're taking a big risk.
Gone.
Some people, in fact, there was a particular person that the first flight was pushed back to the last flight.
Yeah. Let's move on to other papers now. We have the Guardian newspaper with us as well. COP28 summit. Again, Nigeria, others negotiate right to just transition. Now, there is a big infographic on the cover there on carbon emissions per capita by country. Now, in terms of carbon emissions, the countries that are emitting the most, as you can see from the colors there, maybe you might not be able to see it. The U.S. Is right there, is large in aqua blue on the cover of The Guardian there. China seems to have a very large percentage there. India as well. There are not as many African countries emitting as much carbon, according to this infographic. So it's something interesting for you to look at when you get the chance. It also says here, fulfill your stance on federalism, Afenifere tells Tinubu. 14% Nigerian women experience physical violence, it says here, page 4. Yeah.
That stat might probably be higher than what it is because I personally, I mean, one word that everybody might know somebody or know somebody that is involved in this. Now, there was a particular stat in Lagos State about how over 200, almost 300 men are also victims of domestic violence. So we're talking about both genders. And this is because there are some cases that I know about that are just close to me now. And it is how it has become so much of a norm that it happens consistently. And even the family of the abused would tell them, go back to it. It's a normal thing now.
Sad. Very sad.
No, it is not.
It's actually quite alarming.
Time will not permit me to start going into that. So let's just
the numbers and, of course, more details are inside the Guardian newspaper. That particular story is one you can follow up on page 4. It says here, more teaching hospitals risk shutdown over exodus of medical professionals. Now, this one was quite alarming to me because there is supposed to be a particular ratio of people to doctors in any given state, and we were already way below standard well, I'm talking about in Lagos now. We were way below before the exodus started. But what are the things that are being put in place to mitigate this getting worse?
There's no nice way to put it. It is bleak. It is bad. It is terrible. There is no light at the end of the tunnel at the rate it is going. There has to be a state of emergency, something drastic
done to make sure that can be sorted out. But hopefully those who are in charge can make something happen soon. We have to move over to the Daily Trust newspaper at this point. It says here, 2024 fiscal year, security gets lion's share as Tinubu presents 27.5 trillion naira budget. Recurrent takes 18.51 trillion, capital 8.7 trillion. President wants proposals passed in 1 month. And on the 8.7 trillion debt worrying, reduce it, says, debt worrying, reduce it, Akpabio says here. It says, under the masthead International Day of Solidarity with Palestinians, UN reiterates two-state solution. Abuja flight diversion to Asaba, controversy as dispatchers, controllers disagree, yet again being mentioned here. And it also says here, bandits kill 18 hunters in Taraba State. Once again, the mention of the Naira note, old and new remain legal tender according to Supreme Court here. And finally, it says here, 25 killed, 15 injured in Kwara Road crash, right at the bottom of the Daily Trust newspaper. And that's all we have time for when it comes to the headlines in the dailies for this morning. Check out a few papers yourself and use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC with your comments and contributions. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more.